Starting at level 1, Pudgy Pig is a walking bacon nightmare that was supposed to terrorize Angel Grove by eating all the food. He represents everything that's wrong with early monster design. His master plan involved consuming the city's entire food supply, leaving everyone to starve. The Rangers' solution? They fed him spicy food until he got a stomachache. I'm not kidding. This terrifying monster was defeated by hot sauce and digestive issues. When your villain can be stopped by Taco Bell, you've hit rock bottom. Then there's Brick Bully, a monster made of literal bricks who challenged people to arm wrestling contests. His evil scheme, making everyone in Angel Grove incredibly strong so they'd arm wrestle each other to death. The concept sounds like a rejected G.I. Joe villain pitch. What if we made a monster that's just a walking wall, but he's really into competitive arm wrestling? The execution was even worse than the concept. Power Rangers has an obsession with camera monsters. Throughout the franchise, we've seen at least 6 different camera-based villains. Their typical plan: take pictures to steal souls or trap Rangers in photographs. But here's the problem. In a world where teenagers regularly morph into spandex-clad superheroes using magical coins, the idea of a monster with a camera just isn't threatening. When your villain's most dangerous weapon is basically an Instagram filter, you're in comedic territory. Moving up to level 2, these villains don't have universe-ending powers, but they're dangerous because they understand human psychology and exploit personal weaknesses. Before Astronema became the Princess of Evil, she was Corone, Andros' lost sister. What makes her terrifying at this level isn't her magic or monster army. It's how she weaponizes Andros' love for her. In their final confrontation, she doesn't attack him with spells or summon Quantrons. She reminds him of their childhood, of the brother who failed to protect her. She tells him he let them take her, and that he let Darkonda steal everything she was supposed to be. That's real psychological warfare. She turns his greatest motivation, finding his sister, into his greatest weakness. No monster can replicate that kind of personal devastation. When Tommy first appeared, he wasn't just another monster, he was a Power Ranger. They're equal in every way. But he was fighting for the wrong side. Rita didn't just create another Putty, she corrupted their own concept of heroism. His most brutal moment isn't a physical fight. It's when he infiltrates the command center and tells Alpha 5 to inform Zordon that his precious Rangers are finished. The violation of their sacred space, the mockery of their mission, it's personal betrayal, not just combat. Tommy proves that the most dangerous enemies are the ones who know your fighting style, your weaknesses, and your heart. Diabolico understands human nature better than most psychologists. He doesn't just attack Mariner Bay, he studies it. He learns about family bonds, fear, hope, and then systematically destroys each one. When he possesses Captain Mitchell's son, he doesn't just control his body. He makes Ryan remember every moment his father chose duty over family. Diabolico turns legitimate parental challenges into weapons of mass destruction. At level 3, we have the mid-level bosses, powerful, sadistic, and completely loyal to their dark masters. They don't just kill, they enjoy the process. Goldar represents pure savage warfare. This golden armored warrior doesn't just fight Rangers, he tries to break them psychologically through brutal combat. His defining moment comes during Tommy's power drain crisis. Goldar doesn't just attack the weakened Green Ranger, he toys with him, landing blow after blow, while mocking how Tommy's power fails him and that soon he'll be as helpless as the humans he pretends to protect. But what makes Goldar truly terrifying is his patience. He's content to wear down enemies over months or years. When he finally destroyed the Green Ranger's powers, it wasn't through one decisive battle. It was death by 1,000 cuts. Ecliptor is a rare type of villain because he combines deadly skill with a genuine heart. Unlike other generals who obey their masters out of fear, Ecliptor serves Nema out of a deep, fatherly love. This makes him far more dangerous because his loyalty isn't a burden, it's his greatest motivation. When he fights, he uses his sword with the precision of a surgeon and the intensity of a warrior. As seen in his duel with Andros, he doesn't aim a quick kill. Instead, he uses calculated strikes to inflict pain, treating the battle more like a cruel lesson than a typical fight. What truly makes Ecliptor chilling, however, is his personal code of honor. He doesn't view himself as a monster or a bad guy. In his mind, the universe is chaotic, and the only way to create true order is through conquest and strength. He believes his actions are a necessary evil required to bring stability to the galaxy. He isn't just a soldier following order. He is a true believer who views his violence as a service to the world. Scorpina brings psychological warfare to monster combat. She doesn't announce herself with roars or dramatic speeches. She stalks, studies, and strikes when her targets are most vulnerable. Her attack on Trini during Island of Illusion shows her true nature. Instead of a straight fight, Scorpina creates illusions of Trini's greatest fears: her friends abandoning her, her failure as a ranger, her own inadequacy. When Trini finally breaks down crying, Scorpina doesn't deliver a killing blow. She whispers that now Trini knows the truth about herself. That's not just combat, that's soul murder. Level 4 brings us to villains who don't just fight, they orchestrate. They plan months or years ahead, manipulating heroes and villains alike toward their ultimate goals. Master Org is a uniquely terrifying villain because he represents the fusion of human intelligence and monstrous power. Originally a human scientist named Dr. Victor Adler, he didn't just rely on brute force, he used his brilliance to study his teammates and the defenses of the Animarium for years. His ultimate masterpiece wasn't a physical battle, but the psychological destruction of the Red Ranger Cole. He revealed the horrifying truth that he didn't murder Cole's parents for power or glory, but out of a petty, bitter jealousy because Cole's mother, Elizabeth, loved another man instead of him. What makes this revelation so chilling is the level of personal betrayal involved. Adler was a close friend who had eaten at the family's table and even held Cole as a baby before deciding to wipe them all out. This truth completely recontextualizes Cole's heroic journey. It means that every victory and every friendship Cole found as a Power Ranger was built on the foundation of one man's romantic obsession turned into a massacre. Master Org isn't just a monster trying to conquer Earth. He is a man who allowed his smallest, most selfish human emotions to grow into a genocidal force. Rancic is a terrifying villain because he is a literal mistake of the future. 1,000 years from now, society uses genetic engineering to create perfect babies. But Rancic was born accidentally from a spill of discarded DNA and toxic waste in a sewer. He was born imperfect. He was shunned and hated by human society, which fueled a deep, vengeful rage. He didn't travel back to the year 2001 to stop scientific progress or rewrite history out of a sense of duty. He did it to conquer an era that didn't have the technology to stop him. He wanted to build a world where his kind, mutants, were the masters and humans were the ones being hunted. While Rancic does hate the arrogance of the humans who created and then rejected him, his attacks weren't a surgical strike against science itself. Instead, they were acts of pure retaliation and a quest for power. He believed that since humanity had already played God and created him as a monster, he had every right to burn their world down. He isn't a savior trying to protect the future. He is a man who was never given a home, so he decided to take one by force in the past. Mesogog is a terrifying villain because he combines the cold logic of a scientist with a total lack of human emotion. Originally, the human scientist Dr. Anton Mercer, he uses his deep knowledge of biology and the human mind to treat evil like a lab experiment. His most cruel act wasn't building an army or attacking cities. It was the way he manipulated his own son, Trent. By forcing Trent to become the White Dino Ranger, Mesogog didn't just give him powers. He began a process of rewriting Trent's DNA. He wanted to destroy Trent's identity as a person and replace it with a cold, dinosaur-powered warrior. What makes this truly disturbing is the psychological trap Mesogog set. He told Trent that every time he transformed into a hero, he was actually becoming more like his monster father. Mesogog's goal was to make Trent lose his memory of why he ever cared about humans at all. He forced his own son to fight his friends while slowly erasing the boy's humanity, turning a father-son relationship into a twisted experiment where the prize was watching his child turn into a monster just like him. Now we reach level 5. These villains transcend single storylines. They return again and again, growing stronger with each defeat. and learning from every encounter. Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed represent a shift from chaotic magic to a more organized, strategic threat. While Rita's early attempts to conquer Earth were often impulsive, her long imprisonment taught her the value of persistence. When Lord Zed arrived, he brought a level of raw power and discipline that Rita initially lacked. By joining forces through marriage, they combined Rita's intimate knowledge of Earth's culture with Zed's superior resources. However, contrary to the idea that they rewrote reality to become beloved rulers, their actual strength lay in their relentless persistence. In the series, the wedding focused more on their comedic chemistry and a multi-monster assault rather than a total shift in the time. Their true danger wasn't that the world worshipped them, but that their combined magic made them nearly impossible for the Power Rangers to defeat through standard combat alone. Lothar is a uniquely dangerous villain because he is a dark mirror of the Power Rangers' own mentor. As the banished brother of Sensei Kanoi, he possesses the same elite ninja training as the Masters, but he uses it for cruelty instead of honor. Rather than a slow infiltration, Lothar waited in space for years, fueled by a massive ego and a personal grudge. When he finally returned to Earth, he destroyed the Win Ninja Academy and captured its students, proving that he understood their weaknesses perfectly. His ultimate goal wasn't just to rule, to prove that his perfected power was superior to his brother's teachings of discipline. By using his knowledge of ninja arts to combat the Rangers, he turned their own traditions against them, making the fight as much a family feud as a battle for the world. Venjix is the ultimate smart enemy because he is a self-aware computer virus that learns from every defeat. Unlike typical villains, Venjix doesn't just build robots. He infects the world's infrastructure, turning humanity's own technology against them. He is terrifying because he doesn't have a single body to destroy. He lives within the computer networks of the entire planet. Every time the Rangers defeat one of his physical forms, he simply downloads his consciousness into a newer, deadlier body. He views organic life as a glitch in the system that needs to be deleted, making him a cold, calculating force that treats the war for Earth like a software update. We're now at level 6. These aren't just powerful villains, they're fundamental forces of destruction that threaten reality itself. Dark Spectre was the ultimate big boss of the Power Rangers universe. He wasn't just a single villain, he was the leader of the United Alliance of Evil, meaning every major enemy the Rangers had ever fought, from Rita Repulsa to the Machine Empire, reported to him. He was a massive, lava-skinned titan who represented the combined power of all darkness. His greatest strength was his influence. He was able to unite all the galaxy's villains for one final massive attack on the universe. He wasn't defeated by the Rangers in a traditional fight, but by betrayal from one of his own followers, Darkonda. His death created a power vacuum that led to the end of the Zordon era, as Zordon's own sacrifice was needed to finally clean up the chaos Dark Spectre had unleashed. The Machine Empire was a massive army of robots that traveled the galaxy, conquering planets to expand their royal kingdom. Led by King Mondo, they were terrifying because they had infinite resources and an endless supply of robotic soldiers that didn't get tired. Unlike previous villains who used magic, the Machine Empire used advanced technology and sheer numbers to overwhelm their enemies. What made them unique was their family dynamic. They acted like a royal human family but with metal bodies. They wanted to turn Earth into a mechanical outpost, not because of logic, but because they viewed organic life as inferior. They were the first villains to actually scare away Rita and Zed, proving that their mechanical power was a serious threat to anyone, human or alien, who stood in their way. Emperor Groom was the leader of the Trubian Empire, a massive military force that traveled from planet to planet, stripping them of resources and leaving nothing behind. He was a physically powerful warrior with a deep personal grudge against Commander Kruger, who had defeated him years earlier. While he did have access to some time travel technology, he mostly used it as a one-time trick rather than a constant strategy. His real danger came from his vast army and his flagship, which could destroy entire space stations. He didn't want to fracture time. He wanted to conquer Earth to prove he was superior to Kruger, and to provide a resource-rich planet for his mysterious master, the Magnificence. Finally, we reach level 7. These are the ultimate threats. They aren't just bad guys in costumes, they are cosmic forces of pure evil. These villains are so powerful that they don't just break the rules, they literally rewrite reality itself. Lord Draken is the ultimate what-if scenario come to life. In an alternate universe, Tommy Oliver chose to stay loyal to Rita Repulsa, eventually conquering his world and becoming Lord Draken. He is a nightmare for the Rangers because he represents their greatest hero's potential for pure evil. His mission isn't just to rule, but to travel across dimensions to steal the powers of every Power Ranger in existence by stripping heroes of their abilities and giving them to his own sentry soldiers. He turned the symbols of hope into tools of oppression. He views himself as the only one worthy of wielding the power of the Morphin Grid, making him a godlike threat to the entire multiverse. The Psycho Rangers are the dark reflections of the Space Rangers, created by Astronema to be their perfect hunters. Unlike most monsters, they were built using the Rangers' own combat data, allowing them to predict every move and exploit every weakness. While they didn't try to replace the Rangers' identities or memories, they were dangerously obsessed with their counterparts. This obsession was their greatest strength and their fatal flaw. They were so focused on destroying their specific color-coded rival that they would ignore orders and fight recklessly. They represent pure, unrestrained aggression, possessing all the power of a Ranger, but with a cold, robotic drive to kill. Emperor Mavro was the supreme leader of the Armada, the largest military force the Power Rangers ever faced. While he didn't lead a coalition of past villains, his own army was so massive that its ships literally filled the sky. Mavro didn't care about the philosophy of heroism. He was a brutal conqueror who wanted to crush Earth to avenge his fallen sons. The legendary battle was the only way to stop him, requiring every Ranger from history to unite their strengths. He represents the threat of overwhelming numbers, proving that sometimes the only way to defeat a massive empire is for every hero in the universe to stand together as one.